Hey! So, welcome to GenderqueerChat. It's Tuesday, and I'm Andria. So, yeah, I think I will get right into the topic this week. It's a pretty good one. I'm not perfectly educated on the subject, but I think it will be totally alright. So, let me find the topic here, and I will read it off. Alright, so the topic this week is, what do you think about radical feminism? In your opinion, how much is gender variance innate or shaped by society? So, I guess that the thing to start with is, what is radical feminism? So, I think Matt explained this really well and gave a good definition and such. From what I've read on Wikipedia, it's basically a kind of feminism that really focuses on the oppressive nature of gender roles and the patriarchy, which, you know, has this kind of idea of male dominance. So I think this radical feminism, the idea that I get is mostly that it's focused on a reform of society, you know, in that these gender roles are like oppressive, and you know, probably some kind of overthrowing of the male patriarchy, or a balancing out of things. So that's my quick understanding of that. So I don't really know so much about like the politics of feminism, but that's my quick impression. So to just go from that, what is my opinion on that? Well, I think that you know, I think that any kind of form of hierarchy where there really starts to be this obvious like oppression to another group, and it's not just a sort of momentary or like a skilled sort of hierarchy where it's like, oh, well, these people do these things because they actually have more skills in a certain way, when it's just completely built on like prejudices and misogynistic assumptions, like we have in this kind of the culture that I find myself in. Yeah, I think that's totally harmful. So I agree with patriarchy not being very useful. I also personally tend to reject gender roles. I think it's kind of ridiculous to have an expectation on any group that they should be this way or that way, and that's kind of innate and goes along with how their bodies are or something like that. So yeah. So that's my quick opinion on that, I suppose. I'm all for equality, and I think that people should, you know, be treated equally, and I mean, as, you know, as kind of needed, you know, like, in the sense of, like, if we have resources or something, you know, we can't always assume that, you know, well, we have 50 of these, so we're going to give this group 10, and this group 10, and this group 10, etc. But I think that to address the actual concerns of different groups and to divvy out things, if you will, according to need, and also considering the sort of input that different groups can give, I think that's, to me, a sort of ideal for society, which may in fact be a form of communism technically, and I don't really care if it is. I think that people should be treated equally, and to me it seems really quite fair. So anything that involves the fair treatment of citizens and even non-citizens, really just, you know, any system which acknowledges the people and treats people fairly, I think I'm really all for. So I know that's kind of vague and broad, but I guess that's what influences my opinions on these types of things, like radical feminism. So as far as fighting for equality, I'm all for that. And then I think, like Matt mentioned, I guess in radical feminism there may be this this really harmful idea that trans women are somehow not valid. So I consider that something, how can I put that? I do consider myself genderqueer as well as a trans woman. So if radical feminism tends to be particularly invalidating of us, I would not be for that, that aspect of it. So yeah, I think I've answered kind of the first half of the question. So the second half is, in your opinion, how much is gender variance innate or shaped by society? So yeah, that's kind of a different question, but also a nice one. Gender variance. Well, yeah, I think that some of it is probably related to the brain and social, like, conditioning and different experiences that we've had in our lives, and different social expectations, which might kind of push a person around depending on how they feel about those things. Yeah. Excuse me. So, excuse me again. Yeah, I think that gender variance is probably a little bit innate and a little bit socially constructed. I think that gender roles are completely socially constructed, and that there may be some traits that are sort of quite natural to a person, and maybe has biological origins in a way, but those behaviors or whatever else, or inclinations, don't necessarily have anything to do with gender roles. And I think gender roles are based around harmful stereotypes a lot of times. And yeah, so I don't know, and I think, hopefully that kind of answers the question. I think Matt probably answered this way more eloquently than I can right now. I'm a little bit scattered, I guess. But yeah, that's my quick ideas on that. I think feminism is usually a really awesome thing. I feel like that's a great sort of thing, but when it's inclusive, that's important to me. If any kind of group is just specifically inclusive or invalidating to people who definitely exist in the world, then I'm going to be more averse to that, or not necessarily going to listen to a group like that as much. For the most part, I have great experiences with feminism, so yeah, obviously this is supposed to be fairly different in a sense, so I think radical feminism should be radical in that they do accept trans women, even though that shouldn't have to be a radical thing. But yeah, if they're actually accepting of people, then I'm probably all for it. But my quick opinion is that equality matters, and as long as people are being treated with respect, then I can respect that aspect of this kind of ideal. Yeah, so I think that's kind of my quick answer, not anything particularly special. And then the bonus question was, what is your favorite kind of ice cream? Which is awesome. I'm liking this. I think I'll love these little light topics. So I actually just went food shopping today and got some ice cream, and it is mint chocolate chip, which is totally my favorite. It's really great. It's nice because, like, you can have it pretty much any time, and it doesn't really matter. Like, to me, chocolate is good. I like a lot of kinds of ice cream, but if I had just chocolate, it could be like really filling, and you feel kind of gross after a while if you eat too much of that. And vanilla is really good too. Totally cool with that. But sometimes I just want something a little bit more, and I think mint chocolate chip is like perfect. It's just really awesome. I like a little bit of everything that I like, and then it's not like over much, so you can like eat some of it, potentially too much. But it's really good. So yeah, that's my favorite kind of ice cream. Alright, I think that's about it for me this week. Hopefully that made some sense and adds a little bit of something to the discussion. I thought it was a great topic, so yeah. So it's looking like a great list too, so I'm not going to spoil anything, but just saying it's a good list, so we got some cool topics coming up, and yeah, definitely stay tuned and look forward to some interesting videos from the rest of our contributors for the coming months. Alright, peace.